Hey y'all, it's Ketzer again. I rode my bike in the rain to get some Keyforge decks, and today we're gonna look at one. This is the second of my Torrential Trio. First one we had some Saurian, some Star Alliance, and some Unfathomable. So let's see what we get this time. We've got Untamed, Saurian, and Shadows. Ooh. It's really cool, little circle eye going on there. Got some digital effects. Alright, neat Archon. Harper Pet Peeve Grimbreaker. Okay. It's a pretty interesting name, pretty interesting Archon. Hopefully it has an interesting deck composition. Most decks in some way or another are interesting. It's about finding what's interesting about them and the right situations, the right context for them to be interesting in. And, you know, not every interesting deck is competitive, is another thing. Alright. To start off, we got another Hestatus Raptor deck. I've got a couple of these already. Sass tends to be unkind to them, so I think they're like some of my lowest rated Dark Tidings decks. But let's see how many we get. We got 1, 2 Raptors, 3 Raptors, 4 Raptors, third of the house so far, 5 Raptors, 6 Raptors, half the house. Alright. Berry Riches. Ooh. Okay, so this would be real handy if we get all of these popped off with a bit of amber on them. Alright. Hedonistic Intent. Exalt each flank creature. Could be good with these Hestatus Raptors. Let's see what else we got here. Altruist Rossum. Move an amber from a creature to another creature. Alright, alright. Sensor Philo can't be dealt damage by creatures with amber on them. A couple ways to get that to happen. Another Sensor Philo. And as for the dinos, we got Cornican Octavia. Action Capture 2. So, interesting point is all of these creatures have 5 power so far. Alright, let's see what we got in our next house. Shadows, Captain No Beard. It's a rare, and each of Captain No Beard's neighbors gain taunt, and Captain No Beard has recapture 1. Hand Cannon, this creature gains skirmish and fight move 1 from the creature that creature fights to your pool. Another Hand Cannon. Little Nif, Omega Deploy Elusive. After a neighbor of Little Nif fights, steal 1. We got the hand cannons, so that'd be kind of nice to steal 1 for your neighbors fighting. So those hand cannons on the Hestatus Raptors, and they can get more than just a couple fights off of on them. Cement Shoes, deal 2 damage to a creature, and if you destroy that creature with the damage, raise the tide. Francis the Economist has skirmish and fight, each player gains 1. This is pretty good with Little Nif because you can always guarantee that you get that steal off of Little Nif's ability by giving them 1 and then taking it. I think. Yeah, after a neighbor there fights. Alright, halfway through Shadows, Gas Pipes Malone. The creature Gas Pipes Malone fights captures 1 from its own side. Also good with the hand cannons. Hobnobber has action if your opponent has 6 or more, steal 2. Looter Pillage, choose 1, steal 1, or a friendly creature captures 3. Another Looter Pillage. I really like Looter Pillage. I like unconditional out of hand stealing. Scooped, deal 2 damage to a creature. If it's not destroyed, it captures 1 from its own side. It's a pretty good 1-2 punch with the cement shoes. Or, anything else that's gonna fight into something. And Seeker Deal. Deal 1 damage to a creature. If this damage destroys that creature, gain 1. Nice, so we got a nice little Shadows line up there. A lot of little plinky damage, supporting the fight, stealing, doing their thing. Let's see what we've got for Untamed. Ooh, look what I found. I did not know that this card was in the set. Omega, so at the end of your turn, return 1 card of each type, action, artifact, creature, and upgrade from your discard pile to your hand. Got a couple artifacts, got a couple upgrades. Usually it's going to just be for creatures and actions and maybe some upgrades. We'll see if we have artifacts that get used up. Ambermancy. Remove up to 3 power counters from a creature and gain 1 amber each for each counter removed that way. Nice. Beach Day. Return a creature to its owner's hand, and if the tide is high, gain 1. Genetic Drift. Give a creature a +1 power counter, and then give each creature with a +1 power counter another +1 power counter. Got something to go along with that Ambermancy. Got some Amber Pips going in the Untamed so far. Old Patty. Reap, discard the bottom card of your deck, or the bottom 3 cards instead if the tide is high. Play each creature that was discarded this way, 1 at a time. Waste not. Destroy a friendly creature and draw cards equal to half that creature's power. A lot of power 5 creatures. We got some power counters that we can beef them up a little bit. All tied up. If the tide is high, gain 1. Otherwise, raise the tide. Might be good for the Old Patty. Be good for the something else. The Beach Day. Not a ton that cares about the tide in this deck, that's fine by me. Assert Dominance. For the remainder of the turn, friendly creature gains Skirmish. Ready and fight with that creature. Got a few things that are incentivized to fight already, so that card will be fun for getting a little bit of out-of-house value in your Untamed turns. Chelonia. Elusive, and after you play another creature, if the tide is high, gain 1. That's another big reason why you'd want to take that tide. Deepwater Gruin. Also want to take the tide for that, because if it's not, your opponent will gain 1 anytime you play with it or reap it. It's got 5 power. Nice, consistent number in this deck. Could be to detriment, though. I think there's some stuff that makes that detrimental. Myliobi, another good fighter. While the tide is high, it has Skirmish, and before the fight, it enrages the creature that it fights and each of that creature's neighbors. Last but not least, we have Way of the Pixie, another upgrade. This creature gains, reap, gain 1 amber. Alright. So this is a pretty interesting deck, a lot of good incentive to fight and a lot of bulky creatures that can deal with fighting. You've got a little bit of maybe not necessarily burst potential, but a lot of your amber generation is going to come from the Untamed and the Shadows here. The Shadows and the Saurian will give you a good bit of, well, maybe not a good bit, but a little bit of amber control, a little bit of moving around of the amber. It's not going to be anything as crazy as like a Curiosaurus deck, but if you're good at like accounting and managing things on the board state like that, these kind of decks can be a lot of fun to play, and you can get a lot of value out of things like Altruist Rostrum, Hysteus Raptor, and Berry Riches. All in all, this looks like a pretty fun deck. Not at all disappointed. Alright, got one more in the Torrential Trio series. I'll see you then.